In 1972, Canada versus the Soviets. But what if the final goal never came? No Henderson, no miracle, just a Soviet victory, and a very different hockey legacy. September 28, 1972, Luzhniki Ice Palace. Clock bleeding out, 34 seconds left. Scoreboard flickers, 6-5, Canada. Foster Hewitt's voice is about to crack history in half. Here's a shot. Henderson makes a wild stab. We know the fairy tale ending, right? Golden goal, delirium. The whole country loses its voice, but let's twist the reel for a second. Picture Henderson's blade whiffing on the rebound. Tretiak slams the door in overtime. The Soviets rip off 3 straight wins, and suddenly it's the red, not the red and white flag waving highest. 30 million Canadians wake up to a world where hockey supremacy just changed jerseys. The front page of the Toronto Star doesn't scream, Henderson scores. It whispers, USSR stuns world. The coffee tastes like ash. Teenagers who skip class to watch in dim Montreal bars stare at fuzzy screens like they've seen a ghost. Call-in radio turns into group therapy. Maybe we're just not that good anymore. Trudeau's office coughs up 2 stiff lines. Congratulations, we'll study the result with interest. Which is Politico speak for, what the hell do we do now? Hockey Night in Canada dedicates an emergency roundtable to the Soviet style. No hitting, endless cycling, conditioning like it's the space race. Analysts wearing plaid suits admit the Russian game looks like it's from 1995. By January 73, minor league coaches in Thunder Bay are teaching kids to cycle the puck, not the boards. Meanwhile, Moscow doubles down. No Yakushev on the Bruins, no Harlamov at the Forum. The Iron Curtain just got an extra padlock. Molson execs stare at overnight surveys like they're reading a death certificate. The proud home of hockey slogan, retired faster than a goalie pulled after 5 goals. Ad money pivots to maple syrup, and oddly enough, lacrosse. Across the border, ABC's Wide World of Sports calls the upset proof that scientific socialism even beats slapshots. College coaches flood Moscow for training manuals. Bauer and CCM roll out lighter skates modeled on the Soviet tax. By Christmas, the NHL quietly approves the wider red line, admitting, in its own corporate way, yeah, they were onto something. Ask any 50-something Canadian what September 28th means, and you'll get a 1,000-yard stare instead of the usual grin. Textbooks hurriedly retitled the chapter Canada's Game to Canada's Challenge. Quebec separatists smell blood. If Ottawa can't protect our national symbol, maybe we should protect ourselves. Trudeau's approval rating drops 8 points in a week. Cartoonists draw a Mountie guarding an empty trophy case. Meanwhile, the Soviet embassy in Ottawa receives crates of letters from Canadian players begging for tryouts. Most are stamped, visa denied, traitor to the national pastime. The 74 rematch, never booked, why roll the dice again? Canada hosted best-on-best tournaments until 1979. Without the Maple Leaf draw, the WHA folds even faster. Bobby Hull signs in Switzerland for fondue money instead of Winnipeg glory. Czech and Swedish coaches Xerox the Soviet blueprint and start running European tables. The Iron Curtain thickens. By 1980, the miracle on ice is still miraculous. But now, the Americans dethrone a team that's already hailed as undisputed kings, making the upset feel Everest level. Jump to 1987. The NHL finally cracks the door for Soviets, but the pipeline's a trickle. Igor Larionov still dazzles Vancouver, yet he's 31, older, slower, the magic half spent. Canadian kids raised on Soviet drills play a hybrid style. Don Cherry yells, soft Euros, and half the audience changes the channel. Canadian teams chase the cup like it's on a moving train. The last one to catch it is still the 93 Habs. Every spring, the same lament bubbles up. If only 72 had gone our way. Glasnost arrives right on schedule, but the 1987 Canada Cup final, Canada versus USSR, never happens. Ottawa refuses to host Moscow on Canadian ice again. Gorbachev, ever the showman, offers to loan back the Victoria Cup as a goodwill gesture. The photo op blows up. Canadian papers headline, "We'll take it when we can win it back." The Cold War ends, yet every anthem still carries a tiny breath of frost. In our lifetime, Henderson's goal is shorthand for Canadian grit, replayed in beer ads and heritage minutes. Over here, the hunt for a new myth keeps coming up empty. Yes, Crosby still buries the golden goal in Vancouver 2010, but it feels like a repair job, not destiny. Meanwhile, Russian fans celebrate September 28th as Hockey Day, replaying grainy clips of Boris Mikhailov kissing the camera lens, subtitled, How We Taught Canada to Play. So, did one whiff swipe at a puck really redraw the soul of a nation? Drop your own alternate history ripple below. What happens to Gretzky if there's no 72 hero template? Does the WHA still merge on schedule? Smash subscribe and we'll chase the timelines that almost were. Hey hockey fans, you can also follow my blog at https://tedtalkshockey.com. and remember to keep your stick on the ice. Thanks for watching.